Kurz looking clean with his whole sales team. We ain't come to talk nonsense, it's all about the process and profits. Until we make $1 billion from deposits. He never slacked and teach him to take action. So far from whacking, never gave up his passion. Can't catch him lacking, dapper down on his fashion. He forever stacking, running up all the cash in. Real estate mastermind, check out his book, he gave us the blueprint. Really can't hate the grind, put in the work, no making excuses. Quitting's a waste of time, you made it this far, don't make your life useless. Pull up and taste the wine, he got the flavor, mixing the juice.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the podcast, the best podcast ever, the Freedom Podcast. All right, my name's David Kurz, and I'm always bringing it to you live with some of the best in the industry, bringing you real noise about what's happening in today's markets and how real estate agents are making the shifts necessary to continue growth in these markets. Today, my guest is Armando Delgado. How are you, Armando? How's everything, man?
Good, and you, David? We're doing good here, man.
Awesome. Dude, thank you first of all, thank you for being a guest on the show. Second of all, tell us a little bit about you, and what areas you serve, and then we'll dig deeper.
Got it. Again, name's Armando Delgado. I have been doing this for the past 10 years. Got my start in real estate while I was teaching and being an administrator at a couple of schools. My last stop was in Homestead.
Nice.
So that's how I got my start, helping the teachers out. They gave me my big breaks. I got my first listings through them. I got plenty of business from them, referrals. So that's my niche. I try to stick with them, help them anywhere I can, and it's coming back to me, man. It's really coming back to me and my wife and my family. That's all I can ask for. So
let's touch on that a little bit. How long were you a teacher and administrator?
A total of about 16 years.
Okay,
in 2004.
And Emily, your amazing wife, she was also a teacher.
She was also a teacher and a counselor.
Did you guys meet there in like the education system?
No, we actually met before. Funny story. It was playing flag football. It was one day I needed somebody to come in and take a place, and her brother happened to be available. And fast forward 25 years later, here we are.
Nice. All right. So you guys are teachers, you become an administrator, but during being a teacher, you decided to pull and get a real estate license. So it's not like you left teaching and became a brand new realtor. You were a realtor / educator at
Correct.
The same time.
Correct. I was full-time teaching and full-time administrating. And that's when I made the jump. I always wanted something of my own. And real estate, I had an interest for real estate. My realtor that sold me this house was excellent. His name is Isaac Tobeleng. Now he lives up in Tennessee. So he does what I do now. So it was very, very eye-opening. And I was like, you know what? I got to do this. And started part-time, working nights and weekends away from the family, but I had the support of Emily and the kids.
So that's a great question to bring to the table right away, because a lot of folks out there might have full-time jobs and they might be interested in making this shift, right? Becoming full-time real estate because of the allure of being an independent contractor, being an entrepreneur, the money you can make in this business, all of these things. How did you juggle having the two careers? Because they are two careers, not two jobs, two careers. You were 16 years as an educator, like that's a career, right? And then, 4 more years, you probably could have had some retirement or whatever. Now you decide, I'm doing really well on this real estate side. How did you juggle both to be able to get to where you are now?
I got to be honest, with education, being an administrator, I was making pretty good money. So, but like I mentioned earlier, I always wanted something of my own. I wanted to have my own time, and real estate did it. Juggling both was hard, but I was motivated. I had something in me, some motivation. Hey, I don't want to be in education for the rest of my life. It has.
What did the typical day look like? Like, all right, so like, give me a day where you had to do work for both. Like, what did that day kind of look like?
That day usually ended up finishing around 10 o'clock at night. So my day started, most of the days started, 5:30. I would wake up, do some exercises, and then get to work. I was at work by 7:30 the latest, do my administrative duties, disciplining of the school, anything that the building needed, handling teachers, handling students, and come, 5 o'clock, I was back home where I had to send out properties, make phone calls that people were trying to reach me out throughout the day, show properties, and the same thing for the weekend. It was just nonstop. But
Do you
I had that drive.
Do you feel that gave you like a competitive advantage, that you had to hustle so hard to switch the careers? Do you think that gives you a competitive advantage today?
It definitely does, and dealing with people in the industry, just from the schools, you deal with a lot of different personalities, and it just translated very easy into real estate. I can handle all types of situations.
Man, that's even a better insight. Is now we're saying that having been an educator and having worked with with teachers, with students, you in a managerial position, because that's what an administrator is, right? Mm-hmm. You're in almost a manager's position. If I were to compare it to like a sales floor, right? Now you have this understanding of people and communicating with people, and being able to understand different personality profiles, and being able to speak differently to different people, and being able to motivate people differently based on their personality, their needs, their desires, their wants. How does that play into your communication now with homeowners, home buyers, home sellers, clientele?
Very, very easily, David. I've always been good with people. I like being in front of people. I think I have this charisma and this energy towards me where people relate to me. So I'm able to have those conversations. I'm able to have difficult conversations, and they trust me. I'm a trustworthy person, and they trust, and they need to see that you're there for them. I'm ultimately there for them, guiding them in the right way, and they will make the right decision.
So here's a great question. It's often asked to me, so I'm going to pose it to you. How important is your spouse, Emily? How important is your wife throughout this entire growth process, transition, not being home, weekend work, and now actually being like almost your partner, I'm assuming, in this business?
Extremely important. From the moment I told her, Emily, I want to do this, she 100% on board. Armando, I got this, So when I'm out, she was here with the girls, taking care of the girls, whether, was making dinner, picking them up from school. And it goes, and it's vice versa as well, because now she's helping me. So whenever she has to be out, I can take over some of the things. So if you're not a team at home, it's gonna be very, very difficult. But
yeah, man, that's a good point. If you're not a team at home, how do you become a team in business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so do you feel like, because there's somebody out there right now listening going, man, I want to do this. I hear you, Armando, but listen, my spouse is not going to be very happy if I leave my job. Like, what would be something you would say to that person?
I have done that a couple of times already. They asked me, hey, I know you were a teacher, but you were doing this on the side. How did the significant other take it? And I said, look, just have that. You got to have that honest conversation. I want to do this, and I need your support. I don't want anybody else's support. I need yours. This is the support I need from you. And again, have that serious conversation. And if they're there for you, they will be there for you. They will support you 100% if it's something you want to do.
Do you feel that you could be where you are today had you not had that 100% support system at home?
No.
Why is that?
It's because there are difficult situations. We have kids. You have kids. You have a family. So you need help. Take that saying. It takes a village. It takes a village. So imagine if one person's not there, one person, it'll make it difficult with kids. So it takes a village, and it starts with your spouse. Starts with your spouse, and you got to argue. You got to talk things through, and it's part of a marriage.
And man, I'm with you 100%. I don't know that I could do everything that I do without the support that I have. And that's, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's difficult sometimes to have that conversation with somebody who sees it and doesn't have that same support and is asking you like, what do I do? Like we did something special. You know what I mean? And the truth is we didn't do anything special. We just had somebody do something special for us.
There you go.
You know, and I think that goes a long way. All right, so enough kudos to the spouses because we know we're the kings in here. Let's talk about growth processes, man. So what are some of the things that you are doing now? You're full-time real estate, you're rocking it out, no more teaching, no more, you know, dealing with teachers, you know, gripes and complaints and like, you know, this student needs to get out my class and blah, 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 right? I know because my mom's a 30-year teacher, so I know all the complaints, all of them, right? So what are some of the growth processes that you're putting in place? Early on in the conversation, you said, hey, we put a big focus on teachers because, you know, we speak the same language, we understand each other, right? First, let me ask, how important is that? Like, how important are teachers to your business? And why is it that they look at you and go, well, you used to be a teacher, so I guess this is going to work?
Okay. Teachers, again, we like to go back into the schools. I like being in front of people. Again, teaching, I was always in front of people. So how we go back into the schools, we sponsor breakfast, for example. We give them little things here and there, give them some raffles, giveaways, and they like that. It's just appreciating. And we don't go there with the goal of selling them real estate. No, it's just, this is what we used to do, and we're appreciated. Teachers, they put up with a lot. We put up with a lot. Yeah, and they naturally talk to us about real estate. Hey, what's going on here? What's going on over there? My house is this much. What can you tell me? So it starts those conversations that they're going to keep you in mind. They're going to keep you in mind.
It's funny because we often assume that people know. And we assume that because they're teachers, they must be like just all knowledgeable, and they're not. They're normal like the rest of us. They just happen to have an educational focus. Mm-hmm. So do you find that a lot of teachers really don't even understand the home buying process?
Yes,
or selling process? You have to educate them now.
Correct. And a lot of the times is that, hey, I don't think I have the down payment for this. And then you tell them, oh, but you have your 401, you can use this. Oh, really? You can? Do I get penalized? No. And that's how we bought our first home. We used our 401, down payment came from there. You know, we used it for something. We didn't get penalized, and just something that small. A lot of people don't know. And plus all the programs that are now that you have, you know, Hometown Heroes, everything that's coming out, we don't know unless you have somebody there to guide you.
So how do you tap into the teachers? How do you like, I know there's people, you know, obviously, but how do you expand that network now? Like, how do you get past the ones that you know and meet the ones that you don't know?
Well, recently, what we've started doing is just getting involved with our kids' schools. We drop them off every day. We pick them up every day, which is cool. You know, you're there for those kids. So you're seeing the same faces. You start seeing the administrators. You start seeing the teachers. So you establish a rapport. You establish relationships, and they know we do real estate. So anything that comes around, we're on top of mind. Whether they call us or not, we're on top of mind. Hey, they do this. Hey, they do that. So
I always wonder why people don't do that more. What do you think? Like, what, you know, now we're just in assumption mode. Why do you think people don't do that as much?
Because I guess you get into that into a mindset. Hey, I need to do all online, or I need to do go here. But no, you gotta be in front of people. That has worked for me. That's what's worked for me. Some people may be good at what online. Yes, myself, I do get some leads online, but the turnover is not as good as when I'm in front of people, creating relationships with somebody.
Man, I got to tell you, you know, my both my girls are in volleyball. They compete. They're in clubs, and sometimes we go to these tournaments on the weekend, and like it's painstaking, man. I mean, I love my kids, but it's 7 a.m. to like 5 p.m. or it's 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. and you're there and there's like 6 million little girls screaming and spiking balls and like yelling at each other and cheering, and I got to be there the whole day. And I got this t-shirt. On the back of the t-shirt it says, "I am your realtor." And I walk around with full confidence, wearing my t-shirt. And I can't tell you how many times I've been stopped and they go, and of course the question comes out, "Oh, so you're a realtor, huh?" Yeah, totally. Like what gave that away, and then they start speaking to me and asking me questions and, asking about the market and, telling me where they live and like what the neighbor did and so forth and so on. All great conversations, and then I make it purposeful. I'm like, "Yo, give me your number. Let me text you my information. If you ever need anything, I'm here." And then I follow up with them. And, some of these folks we invite to a barbecue, like, and it just, I think that goes such a long way. And I always think about why people don't do that more often, why people are afraid. It's almost like a fear. Why are you afraid to tell people what you do for a living?
I agree.
Or what, besides focusing on teachers, what are some of the other things that you're doing to generate more business today?
I mentioned the online leads. I use Boomtown. Boomtown has helped tremendously.
Okay.
It pays for itself. The leads I'll get, 1 or 2 good solid leads, turn those over, and from those 2, I'll get referrals. So it's working, it's paying for itself, and I can't ask for anything else. It's just now it's you just said something, staying in contact with whoever you meet. That's big. The follow-up is big, and Boomtown helps me with that. Helps me with the follow-up.
How are you using, because I love Boomtown, I'm an old client. How are you using Boomtown for follow-up?
I use the drip campaigns, where there's email drip campaigns. It has the AI component, and it sends out text messages, it sends out emails, and people respond.
Man,
I'm so respond from months before, so it's
I'm so glad you said that,
because kind of follow up myself, but it's a lot to handle.
I'm so glad you said that, because I'm like, dude, like, I look at this and I go, why are we, not utilizing automation? Why do we believe in today's day and age that we have to have a Rolodex and, and be on it, and you know what it is? And I tend to get a little rough in my podcast sometimes. So, some people are going to turn it off right after I say this. It's pure fucking laziness. It's the inability to sit in front of your computer and just set it up. So it's like almost like a one-time setup. You set up all your drip campaigns for buyers, for sellers, for past clients, for referrals, for hot, cold, warm, right? And some of these CRMs, Boomtown, Chime, Follow Up Boss, like sometimes they have shit you could just use.
Exactly. They already have it done for you.
Yeah, that other people have created, And so when I look at this and I hear you say, well, we use automation, we use the AI component, we use drip campaigns to follow up. I love that because these folks are going to keep hearing from you and they will come back and they will give you referrals because you stay consistently top of mind, right?
At least I can tell you, at least this year, out of the leads that have come into Boomtown, the more recent ones, I'm on my 3rd that I'm closing, and then I have 3 referrals from that one. So there's
6 deals, and we're in month 6. So let's call that an average 1 deal a month. Let's I don't know. I'm just making up numbers. Okay. So don't
I'm about 2 deals a month. That's like on the low end goal. 2 deals a month that provides more than anything. And now with Emily on board, hopefully she can do 2 deals a month, and that's above average. I mean,
that's crazy. Like if you think about that, like let's say average price point 500,000, let's call it a 3% commission, 15 grand, 15 times 2 deals is 30 grand. The system costs you, let's call it 3 grand with with leads? I'm just putting numbers out there, right?
A lot less, by the way.
Yeah, but I'm just
1,500.
I'm like making shit up, right? Like $3,000, you made 15, you spent 3, maybe some gas here, some meals there. You took somebody out to dinner, you spent another 2, that's 5 gone, but you made 30. So you net 25, maybe you have a split with the brokerage, you net 20. I don't know. I'm just making numbers up. Like, this is where investing in yourself really becomes a critical key component. And that's what most people don't do. They don't know how to invest in themselves. Like, what would you say to that?
I can tell you that it wasn't this, nobody took me by the hand. Hey, this is what you can expect from real estate. Real estate is not easy. It's with any job, it's gonna have their things. Real estate is not easy. The first time I did this, about when I first started, I was like, okay, now the business is gonna come to me. Nope, it didn't happen that way. So I went back part-time teaching. I was teaching two classes a day, and it gave me plenty of time to do my full-time real estate. And whatever I'm getting in, it has to go back into your business. It has to go back into your business. You got to take a little bit, put it back into your business, and keep at it. Keep at it.
Man, I'm glad we're having this conversation. I hope that if you're sitting down listening to Armando's story, and you're realizing that this is someone who went to college, got degrees, like became an educator, became an administrator, like and then said, I'm going to be a realtor, and became a realtor and is successful at it. And by the way, 2 deals a month is significantly more than average. And for anyone, putting their nose up at that, fuck you, check your numbers, right? Because the average agent in the United States does 4 to 6 deals a year. Okay. That's the average agent, right? And so getting up to 2 a month, that's amazing. Getting up to 4 a month, even more amazing, right? That's 60 grand a month, guys. Like if you could figure out a way to raise the number of your average commission, your price point, you could be at 80,000 a month. And for those of you that are watching this on a screen, like 80,000 a month is $1 million a year. And it's, when you really think about it, how hard is it to make $1 million a year?
Doing that,
staying consistent. That's what it takes. It takes that consistency that you're talking about, the dropping your kids off, the being involved in the schools, the talking to the teachers, the educating, the online leads, the follow-up. Like, those are the consistencies that are so critical that people leave behind, right?
It's a lot. And don't get discouraged. There's going to be months where, hey, what's going on? And you may want to give up, but that's again, then your spouse comes in, hey, we got this. Keep going. Let's do this. Let's go here. What's going on with this? So there's accountability on both ends, and just moving forward. It's not easy, but we're moving forward.
All right. So final question. Let's get a little bit uncomfortable, right? Give me like what's one of your biggest, most outlandish, just ridiculous, you'd never say it out loud, goals in life?
Goals in life. That I never say out loud. I don't know. Like, Emily knows all the goals that we want to do. Goals. I want to be financially secure and free of debt in the next 5 years.
That's great.
In the next 5 years. It's scary to think about, but
because 5 years goes by fast.
Exactly.
Right? 5 years is quick,
But that is my mindset. It's a goal. Goals sometimes, maybe you don't reach them in 5 years. Maybe it takes me another 7 or another 10. But what's important is that you actually put plan in place to actually hit it in 5. If you don't hit it, at least you're working towards it, right? And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, the people who don't hit it because they never did the work, then you're the problem, right? But the people that did the work and didn't hit it, well, they got close, or they accomplished a lot in the process, right? Or they had a hiccup in the middle, like some crazy shit happened that required a large intake of money. Somebody got sick, somebody got sued, somebody got, like, shit happens, right?
And so being able to fight for that goal, that's awesome. I congratulate you on that. Armando, thank you for being a guest on our show, man. The Freedom Podcast is always here for you anytime you want to come back.
Oh, I will.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Check it out, guys. Make sure you're checking out the Freedom Achiever Academy. Just go to freedomachieveracademy.com. Sign up, get a 7-day free trial, $149 a month after that. Over 350 training videos and coaching videos and amazing things like what you just heard over the last 30 minutes. Thank you once again for being a member or a guest. I said a member of our podcast, a guest on our podcast. And man, I greatly appreciate you.